this video, we're going to go over the atomic physics. Uh, Under atomic physics, we get to understand the radioactive elements and also the half-life of those radioactive elements. And then you're going to understand that you're going to find the beta particle, the alpha particle, and also the gamma ray. All those they are capable to undergo what we call radioactive decay. Now, just a quick introduction and also a recap under the structure of an atom. We remember that an atom, this is the smallest particle of an element that is capable to take part in a chemical reaction. And then we also understand that this same atom, it is made up of three subatomic elements or atomic particles that we call protons, neutrons, and we have also electrons. We also understand that protons, these are positively charged, while neutrons, these they have no charge, which simply means that they are neutral, so they have a charge of zero, while electrons, these are negatively charged. Now, protons and neutrons, they are found at the center of an atom. So if I have an atom, which is this one, whatever I have on the center there, it is we have protons and neutrons. Now, the ones that we are able to see around the center of an atom, they are the ones that we call electrons. So electrons, these are found in the shells of an atom, but they are not constant. They are continuously moving around the shells of an atom. And then um, in the case where they have asked you to come up with for example, this question which is saying find the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons if it is neutral. So if we are dealing with a neutral atom, what you need to understand is for example, we have a carbon there which is C, we have a 14 and a 6 there. The number which is down here, it is the one which we call the atomic number, and then it is represented by Z. And then the one which we have there on top, it is called the nucleon number or the mass number. It is the nucleon number or the mass number, and then it is represented by A, like that. Now, one thing which you have to understand is that for a neutral atom, which simply means that the number of protons is equals to the number of electrons. So the number which is down here, it also represents the number of electrons in the shells of an atom, for the fact that this element or this atom, it is a neutral atom. And then the number that we have, the mass number or the nucleon number, it is being defined to be the sum of protons and neutrons that are found at the center of an atom. Now this 14, which simply means that in order for them to come up with this 14, they added the number of protons and the number of neutrons. Now in the question, they are saying we should find the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So what you do, you say you write your element there. We understand that the atomic number, it is the one which represents the proton number. So which simply means that the number of protons in this atom, they are 6. Now we have to come up with the number of neutrons. Now if we already have the number of protons and then we already have the mass number, which is the addition of neutrons and protons, therefore we can only subtract by saying 14 minus 6 in order for us to come up with the number of neutrons. So you just say 14 minus 6, which is 8, and then you get your answer to be 8, like that. That is the number of neutrons. So in order for them to come up with the mass number, they just added 6 plus 8 and then they got 14. That 14, it is the nucleon number or it is the mass number. Now since they have said that if it is neutral, as you can see, all these atoms that we have, they are neutral atoms. Therefore, the number of protons, it is equal to the number of electrons in the shells of an atom. So which simply means that the number of electrons there will have 6 as well, because it is a neutral atom. This same number, it also represents the number of electrons if the atom, only if the atom, it is what, it is neutral. So for the fact that this atom, it is neutral, therefore we have 6 electrons. Now you can pause the video and then try part B, which is saying we have a chlorine there. By the way, you don't have to to master these atoms or elements, because they will be given on the periodic table. So what you have to do here, you just say they have asked us to come up with the number of protons. So you say protons, electrons, and neutrons, like that. So what is the number of protons? Remember, this is the neutral atom, therefore we have 17 atoms, I mean 17 protons. And then we have how many electrons? 17 electrons, because this atom, it is a neutral atom, therefore we are going to have 17 electrons there. But how do we come up with neutrons? Remember, we have the mass number there. What you just do, you say 35 minus 17, and then you're going to get your neutrons. So you say 35 minus 17, that will be 18. So you say 18 there, and that is your number of neutrons. So that's it. That's what we have to do under this question. For part C, remember, you just have to write your element, your nucleon number there, you have your atomic number there. So you say protons, electrons, and neutrons. Therefore you're going to have the number of protons, it is what, you just get the atomic number there, which is a 1. The number of electrons, for the fact that this is the neutral atom, therefore you're going to have 1 electron. And then the number of neutrons, you're going to say 3 minus a 1, that will be equal to a 2. So we have 2 neutrons. Now this is what we call tritium, one of the isotopes of hydrogen. So this is hydrogen 3. Yeah. Now we have this element or this atom, which is P, or we have 210 there, which is the mass number, and then you have 84 there, which is the atomic number. So you say protons, electrons, and neutrons, like that. Now the number of protons is it is what, this is the atomic number, which is equal to the number of protons, so we have 84. Now is this a neutral atom or an ion? As you can see, this is the neutral atom, so we have the same number of electrons, so you say 84, like that. Now for the number of neutrons, you say 210 minus 84. Therefore you're going to have 210 minus 84, you're going to get 126. So you have 1, 2, 6, like that. That is your neutron number, the number of neutrons, I mean. Now you can pause the video and try part E as well. It is very easy, you just do the same. So you say which is uranium, so you have uranium 238, and then you have 92 down there. So protons, electrons, and neutrons, like that. The number of protons, it is what, we have 92, just get the atomic number, which is down there. And then the number of electrons, for the fact that this is the neutral atom, therefore we have 92 electrons as well. Now for the number of neutrons, that is the number of electrons. Now for the number of neutrons, you say 238 minus 92. The answer that you're going to get it is the number of neutrons. So you say 238 minus 92 there. So you're going to have 146. 146, that is your answer for the number of neutrons. I hope you have understood this. It is very easy and straightforward. Now, 2, it is saying express the following elements by the symbol of. So we need to express this in the Nuclide notation. So you have the mass number there and you have the atomic number, and then X represents the number of the element. So the number, I mean not the number of element, but the chemical element, the symbol. Now, what you do, you say, for example, they have said that A, which is Li, so you write your Li there like that, and then you have to count the number of protons and the number of neutrons, and then you add them together. So whatever you are seeing there to have a positive, that is the number of protons, but the ones which are empty, these ones, those ones are neutrons because they have no charge. So you just count, you say 1 2 3 4. So you have four neutrons. And then how many protons do you have? 1 2 3, like that. So you have 3 protons. When you add these 4 plus 3, that is a 7. Then you get your nucleon number, or what we call the mass number. That is our mass number. And then remember, this is equals to the mass number, and then which simply means that this 7 is going to be there, and then now we are remaining with the atomic number. Now the atomic number, it is the one which we say it is the what? The number of protons. Now we have how many protons? We have 3 protons, so you just write a 3 there like that. That is your notation. This is equals to in the form of X, we have A and a Z there. Now X, it is Li, A, it is 7, Z, it is a 3 there. So that's what you do. Try out part B as well. It is very easy. You just have to count. Just pause the video and then you try it. So what you do for part B, you say, you write your B there, and then you count the number of protons and the number of neutrons. So the number of protons, it is what? Or if you want, you can just count everything there. The number that you're going to get, you're going to put it on top there. That's what you can do if you want. But it is easy to first come up with the number of protons and the number of neutrons, so that it will be very easy for you to add. So you just say, you will count the ones that have positive. So we'll say 1 2 3 4 5, like that. So we have how many? You have 5 protons, so you write 5 protons. Now you have to count for neutrons. So you have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So you have 6 neutrons, like that. So in order for you to come up with the mass number, or what we call the nucleon number, you just add this. So you say 5 plus 6, it is what? That is 11. So you're going to put your 11 there, which is your mass number. And then the one which is down there, as in the form of Z, because you are writing this in the form of this. So for the Z part, you just get the number of protons there, which is a 5. That becomes your answer. Very easy and direct and straightforward.